Three. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Financial Advantage podcast. We're powered by the Wells Funding Group. My name is Dennis Wells. Super excited to be joined today by Kat Matheis, and she is a professional realtor with AMR Real Estate Group. And Kat, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. So tell us how you got started in the real estate business.
Yeah, so real estate was actually kind of a part-time gig for me. One of my best friends, who is a wonderful real estate agent herself, kind of talked me into it. I went and got my license, and then after I got it, she thought I was just gonna, go be a real estate agent. And I was like, nope, we're gonna start a team. So I started working real estate part-time, working with her, learning a lot from her. I was actually a full-time police officer at the time.
Wow.
So that was my side gig was real estate.
Okay. Okay. And so I think we talked about this earlier. What are some takeaways from being involved in law enforcement? Thank you for your service, by the way. But takeaways from law enforcement and that end of public service to going into real estate full time.
Yeah, so it actually is the same. I'm helping people with a huge ordeal, right? Now,
Yes.
clearly the police officer side, those are more critical life events. This one is just the biggest life purchase that you're going to make,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it's still helping people just kind of in a different capacity. Still requires a lot of critical thinking. It takes a lot of flexibility, takes a lot of understanding and patience. All of those things kind of tie in together with, the law enforcement side and the real estate side.
Yeah. Yeah. My brother-in-law, retired from the Portage Police Department, and he's still in public service in Florida now. But I think a lot of that, people think, I guess you watch TV and there's all the shootouts and all this stuff,
Yeah.
but most of what he's doing is like public relations,
Yes.
helping people, figure things out, which I think would correlate very well with
Very
the
much
real
so.
estate. That hey, there is a solution, other than the one you're thinking of right now.
Right. Right. This is not the end all be all, I promise.
Right, right. Yeah, take a step back, take a deep breath, and we can get through. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it is nice that, by and large, nobody is shooting at you in real estate. So
That is a nice point. That is a nice thing.
yes. So how have you built such a successful business in such a short amount of time?
Whew. So this honestly, I think it's just because I am probably the most consistent person you're probably going to meet. I don't let something go. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it has helped me.
Right.
Being consistent, showing up when I don't want to show up,
Hmm.
um, being present, doing all the research myself to make myself better. It is not I'm going to mock this person and it's going to work for me because everyone is different. Different techniques work for different people. It's been a lot of trial and error. It's been a lot of finding myself almost as a real estate agent because there's so many different routes a real estate agent can go. You have people who focus more on investment sides and flips and things of that. You have people who focus strictly in luxury. You have people
Hmm.
that focus in just the average common residential home. There's so many different avenues to go. There's property management, things like that. It's honestly been trial and error for me. See which one actually fuels my passion and helps
Hmm.
me because I really feel like when you're actually truly passionate and enjoy doing something, you're going to do it 10 times better than someone else who hates it because it's going to show and reflect in your work and in your work ethic. So that has been huge for me. I pour my heart and soul into my clients. They are my friends. They're not just my clients. And they see that, they acknowledge it, they respect it. And
Hmm.
then they want me to help their friends and family find a home. So then those referrals just build off of each other.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I mean, a lot to unpack there, but sometimes people think, real estate is just what you see like on the TV, and surprise,
Opening doors.
surprise. Yeah, opening doors and, driving nice cars and seeing
Yeah.
luxury things all the time. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's not, I mean, you do get to see some nice things and, but it's not always all of that. There's a lot
Right.
of, very, unexciting routine things that go into, in whatever business that you're in. It's like,
And it's
they're
funny
not,
that you bring up the nice cars and nice things. I call them the flashy things.
yeah.
I am not a flashy person. 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to show up in my mom car, getting out with my leggings and my hoodie on to show you this house. And I have found that I have had clients come tell me, they're like, "Oh, thank God you're here dressed like that." And part of me is like, "What do you mean dressed like that?" But they're like, no, we feel more comfortable. Like we're talking to a normal person. It's
Yeah.
almost like sometimes I feel like in real estate, the flashiness can be very unapproachable to a lot of people.
Hmm.
It can be kind of hard for people to want to build that relationship with you, find common ground with you. So that's honestly kind of been something with me. I've got tattoos. Like I said, I show up in my leggings and sweatpants. I feel like I'm able to be relatable, and
Yeah.
that's helped me a lot too.
Yeah, yeah, and what I'm hearing there is like a lot of is being comfortable in your own skin, being
Yes,
comfortable with who you are, and that, like, yeah, if you know, and focusing on the other person, it's like
yes,
you're there to help them, you're not there to, necessarily, and impress them with anything other than, what you're helping them to do in, their decision, whether it's to buy or to sell real estate.
correct.
Yeah, very good. So, how does your approach to the business differ from other agents?
That's a really good question for the simple fact that I don't know. And I've been asked this question multiple times. I don't know. And it may fall, you may have actually answered it for me just now with being comfortable in my own skin. I'm
Hmm.
comfortable with who I am. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with my approach with people, and I'm comfortable when I'm meeting new people because I want to relate to them. I come at a relating approach, not
Hmm.
a, hi, let's buy a house approach. It's,
Hmm.
hey, how was your weekend? What'd you do? Oh, that's awesome. What sports do your kids play? Oh, so does mine. Where do they go to school? How old are they? There are so many different relatable questions because I'm breaking down that barrier and I'm building a
Hmm.
relationship with them more so of what type of house do you want? When do you want to build? When do you want to move? Do you want an older home? Do you want a more, a brand new build? How can I help you? I think when you kind of divert from those and learn about the person themselves, you can actually help them better when it comes to finding a home because you could be like, oh, I remember your daughter. You said your daughter loves doing crafts. Look at this wonderful loft in this home. Tell me this
Yeah.
would not be a perfect craft area. So that has helped me with my approach is I go more about learning who the person is and then real estate comes second. So that's kind of helped me.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot to be said to, you know, and not that, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, style of house, size of lot, interest rate, payment, terms, those are important. But the more important question is, why have you decided that now is a great time to buy? What is
Yes,
going on in your life that has brought you to this point? And, how familiar are you with the, wealth building potential of real estate? And, do you understand, the 60% of our value as a realtor or as a lender really comes after the close. I mean, most people think our job ends when you get the keys, but really that's when the bulk of our job starts, because there's a difference between, you know, owning a house and being a successful homeowner. And we really want to help you, maximize that wealth building potential of your house.
correct. Correct. Yeah, it's a lot of, okay, well, now I feel that because we closed on the house that we're like breaking up. We had a relationship going on. Are we breaking up? When do I get to see you again? I get Christmas cards, invites to cookouts, things of
Hmm.
that. And that that speaks volumes to me because that means that I have truly made an impact in that person, that they want me to be a part of their home ownership.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, you're probably never going to make an offer on a house unless you feel like that's your place. You can live there forever. But the
Right.
truth of the matter is, people don't live in the same house forever, by and large, and that things change. And so, being that agent for life, where you're constantly, having that relationship with them and be like, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about the house? It's like, I'm
Right.
kind of a 5. Oh, well, what would it take to make it a 10? It's like, well,
Right.
I need bigger space, or I need to be in this school district. Or like, well, we can't move the house, so let's
Yeah.
figure out how to get you over there. And maybe it's involved in an equity transition plan. How do you get from where you are at that 3% rate to where you want to be with a 6% rate? You know, but still be able to create cash flow and still be able to be able to invest and make sure that you're, providing adequate insurance coverage for your family and things like that.
Correct. Yes. Love it.
So obviously, I work with a lot of agents, and I know real estate can be a 24/7 profession. But in your free time, what are things that you enjoy doing?
So right now my kids are living their best life and I am their glorified unpaid Uber driver. Uh, I have a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, and then a 3-year-old. So
Wow,
both of my daughters are very successful softball players and a part of
nice.
really high elite travel softball teams. So we are constantly traveling for that, which is I love it. I love
Hmm.
watching them go out there and do something that they are just so they're in love with it. That is their
Yep.
passion,
Yeah.
seeing them with their passion. And then my 3-year-old, enough said. I feel like I spend every day trying to prevent him from killing himself because he is 100% all boy. He climbs on everything, jumps on everything, into everything. Very in that independent, no, I'm gonna do it stage, where it's
Yep.
like, if I would have done this, we'd have been done 5 hours ago, but you're still sitting here messing with the same thing over and over because you're insisting on doing it. It's that independent stage that drives everyone crazy.
Yep. Yep.
So yes, just hanging out with all my kids. They are a lot of fun. My husband, he and we're concert gurus. That's kind of our thing. So going to concerts, we love music. We're really into live music. That is very, very fun. And so it's our date night thing that we do. So that is something we love to do. I'm a bookworm when I have time.
Okay.
That that's my other release. I am that girl that you probably see TikToks on where it's like, why is my wife reading all these fantasy novels? And yeah, that's me. I'm that wife. So that's me doing that in my free time. So yep, just being a mom to my three, trying to have my date nights with my husband still, and finding time to read my fantasy novels.
I love it. I love it. What type of music are you into?
So everything. So I love country music, but I'm a rocker at heart.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone listens to like Sirius XM radio, but I'm an Octane girl through and through. Uh,
Okay.
a lot of people look at me and they're like, I would have never put you to listening to like Avenged Sevenfold, Shine Down. That is my ultimate favorite band. Brent Smith, he is my heart. But yes, so I am definitely a rocker girl, but then I also love country at the same time. So I'm kind of all over. I grew up listening to musicals and being in musicals. So if you want to go ahead and really throw another genre of music into mine, it's musicals. And with the new movie Wicked coming out soon, my musical heart is just couldn't be more excited.
I love it. I love it. So what is your favorite concert you've been to so far?
Ooh, so favorite concert is probably Nothing More. They're a newer band. I saw them live about a year and a half ago at the Murat here in Indianapolis, which I love that venue because it's a smaller, more intimate venue. There's
Hmm.
not a bad seat in the house. But my favorite band is Shinedown. And they also have performed there at the Murat before. So it's probably a close tie between those two. And Nothing More is actually getting ready to come back around through Indianapolis soon at Bankers Life downtown with Disturbed. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I,
they're
I,
going to be together, and I already jumped all over tickets on that one too. So we
okay.
will
Okay.
we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, the boys and I went and saw Disturbed. Wow, I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the Chicago area. I think it wasn't the United Center. It was someplace. It was some venue out there. Maybe it was. I can't remember.
Well, you'll have
But
to take a day trip down to Indianapolis then, since they're going to be here with Nothing More, and that's going. I think it's Nothing More and Stained, which is
okay,
another older band that's awesome. So
okay,
for it.
love it, love it. So what are some goals for you for the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so my goals for the next 3 to 5 years is I'm actually looking to get my broker's license to be a managing broker. I really am looking to grow my real estate portfolio as well. I've really
Mm,
started dabbling more into the investing side with
okay.
rentals and flips, things of that nature. So I am starting to kind of transition to that side to build my own personal portfolio.
Hmm.
So those are my two big goals for the next 3 to 5 years is to continue growing my portfolio, get my broker's license, and start being able to help other agents start in the real estate, agent as a career. I've
Yeah.
had multiple people reach out to me and want to meet with me and talk to me about becoming a real estate agent. And then some have asked already if I would mentor them. So, what a better time than to go get my broker's license, be their mentor, help them get their careers started too, while still dabbling in my investment side as well.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. So, what advice would you give to, a newer agent or someone wanting to get into the business for the first time?
Don't get into business thinking you can control your schedule. That is
Okay.
myth number one. You can control your schedule, but you probably will also find yourself being limited on the amount of business that you can potentially do.
Hmm.
Um, Stay consistent, stay consistent, stay consistent. If one thing doesn't work, don't do that one. Just move on to another thing. Listen to podcasts. I cannot stress it enough. I love listening to Bigger Pockets right now is a huge
Mm,
one for me to listen to, especially with investments. You will learn more from listening to those than you will trying to do it on your own because
mm.
you can't ask questions of things that you don't even know exist.
Yep.
So trying to get answers on those is impossible because you don't even know to ask the questions in the first place. I
Yeah.
have learned a lot more about financial freedom. I have learned a lot more about different loan programs and what is all out there.
Hmm.
Um, and the next biggest thing with real estate is if you are truly not passionate about something, it will burn you out. So
Hmm.
really do have to try and find what is the favorite part of real estate for you and really hone in and focus on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a coach that talks about, your area of genius, which is where, like, you know, you're good at some things and you're not good at other things. And some things give you energy and some things take away energy. So obviously you don't want to spend time in something that you're not any good at that sucks your energy. But where you really want to spend your time are those activities that you're really, really good at and they energize you where you can literally have more energy at the end of the day
Yes.
than you do at the beginning of the day because you're operating in your genius zone. And I mean we all do things, we all have to do certain things, right?
Right.
Whether it's you know taking your kids to a practice or paying taxes or whatever. So there's a lot of things that not necessarily what I love, what I'm really great at, but as much as we can control, hey, being involved in those high leverage activities that energize us can
Yes,
make a huge difference.
for sure. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you really love a certain aspect, dig your heels into it and just keep going. But you have to stay consistent. It really is one of those things. Real estate, I call it the roller coaster because you're going to have highs and you're going to have some really big
Hmm.
lows. But as long as you keep riding that ride out, you will eventually pull out of that low again. You really
Hmm.
truly will. But don't just think that I'm just going to immediately go into investment because you may go into it and hate it. You kind of hear about it with doctors too. They're like, I'm going to go be a surgeon. And then they get there and they're like, I absolutely hate everything about this. I'd rather go be an OB and deliver babies.
Hmm.
Uh, you really don't know until you really don't know what you don't know. So
Right.
when you get in and really start digging into it, just find your niche. Find
Hmm.
your niche. And it takes time. It takes time. It really truly does. This is not an overnight thing. This is not a month. This is not a 3 month. This isn't even a 6 month thing. This is a years. This takes years to really hone in and focus on the one thing and really start to succeed and excel in the
Yep.
industry. I got fortunate enough to find my niche really soon, so I was able to hone in on it a little bit sooner and really start to excel in my career. But stay consistent, stay the course, and it will pay off.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think maybe you said this too, but like answering your phone, I
Oh my
mean,
gosh, yes.
I
You
mean, it's
have
just
to.
the little things that it's like, I don't know why you would, be in any kind of profession like we're in and people not be able to get a hold of you.
Yes.
And, you
And
know,
that's okay. You like I cannot answer my phone all the time, but I have my system set up that if I miss a call, it's going to send them a text automatically for me.
mhm,
So I'm keeping that communication alive.
yep,
And these are all things that I cannot tell you how many clients I've had that were like, I just couldn't get my agent to answer the phone, which is mind-boggling to me.
right.
If yeah, you may not answer your phone then, but call them back. Call
Yeah,
them back.
yeah,
There are 24 hours in a day. And I promise you, they would rather hear from you at 10 o'clock at night than not hear from you at all.
yep.
And it just that's what keep it real.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep it
Well,
real.
actually, yeah. I mean, actually, I have an answering service. So, like, obviously, we're on a podcast. I can't pick up my phone, but
Right.
it's like a real person does pick up the phone, can schedule an appointment, can get whatever information that they need, and and I'll call them back as soon as we're done. But at
Yep.
least they have that human connection of, oh, they they really care.
Yes.
So
Be available. Answer the phone.
yeah,
Call people back. It's that simple.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, yeah, and anything else you'd like to share with people that may be interested in buying or selling real estate?
Yeah, so there's never to me, and this is what I've seen. You really cannot lose in real estate. Everyone's like,
Right.
"Well, what's going to happen if the market crashes?" Well, unless you absolutely just let your house go to absolute trash, you don't take care of it, you don't,
Hmm.
keep maintenance on it. You don't literally do anything to your home. You can't lose in real
Right.
estate. You
Right.
really, truly cannot. That is a one thing that people ask me all the time. What about the market crashing? Well, are you going to go into your house and just completely start punching holes in the wall and not take care of your stuff? Well, no. Well, then what do you have to worry about? You don't have to
Right.
worry about
Right.
anything.
Right.
Take care of your home, have that pride and ownership. You're going to be just fine.
Yep.
On top of that, once I think you realize and see firsthand just how easy it really can be to buy a home, you're almost going to want to be like, oh, why was I stressing over this?
Yeah.
Have an agent that you trust wholeheartedly. And if you are able to let them guide you through the process instead of trying to control the entire process too, that's going to be a huge stress reliever off of you as well.
Yeah.
Put that stress on your agent.
Yeah. 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 And I think that there's that important part of being a guide for our clients.
Yes.
I really put an emphasis on educating, equipping, and empowering our clients. Along the lines of, I mean, do you realize that we have, even though inventory is up, now from a year ago, we still have about 20 to 25% of the houses on the market that we did prior to the crash. So
Correct.
the inventory is extremely, extremely low, and every 1% decrease in interest rates on mortgages, enables 1 to 2 million additional people to be able to buy a house. So, like you're saying, and unless you're just gonna like shut off the utilities and walk out of your house and leave
Yeah.
it for a couple months, it's like, that's not a good plan. But it's like if you're living there and you're taking care of it and you're fixing things that break and you're, keeping it clean and all those things, it's only going to go up in value.
Yes, and everyone keeps saying, "Well, what if the market, the interest rates get better, and I'm locked in here, refinance." That is a
Yep.
huge, I think we've heard it before. It's date the rate, marry the house.
Yeah.
Because what? If you were going to wait for that same house at a different interest rate, you're now going to be competing against X, Y, and Z amount more buyers, which
Right.
then in turn could drive the price up. So
Right.
essentially, you're going to be buying the house at a higher price, paying the exact same for it if you would have just done it from the first place. Instead, you could just live in the house, refinance if rates go down, put yourself in an even better financial position, and still have your house.
Right.
So it just there's a lot of different options out there. And like I said, you don't know what you don't know, but it also takes a good agent and a good lender working together to communicate not only together, but with that client and bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And, and again, I talk with our people about, I see myself as your debt manager. Again, you think that, my job ends when you get the keys to your house. That's really when my job starts. And so I'm always going to be looking for those opportunities to help you swat out expensive debt for cheaper debt, bad debt for good debt. So we'll set a strike rate for, hey, here we are, we've closed. When rates get to X, I want your permission up front that we're going to go ahead and lock you in, and we're going to get you through, no cost, no points, refinance, so that maybe you're building up your escrows that you're going to get back from your current mortgage company in 3 weeks, and so there's no recapture period. It's not like, well, it'll take me 6 months to make that up. No, you made it up like on day one,
Right.
and then we set our next opportunity. So to take that out of that part out of someone's mind, to be like, well, what? Yeah, if rates get better, we can fix it.
Yep.
But we can't go back in time and get you the equity that you're going to miss if you wait until some unspecified time in the future when you finally decide to make the move.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, well,
This
Kat,
is
thank you
why
so much.
you do what you do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, I've really enjoyed our time here together today. I know probably a lot of people would love to talk with you about, buying and selling, uh, or
Absolutely.
being on your team. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so the best way is honestly, call me. Call me or
Okay.
text me. I answer my phone and email. My phone number is 317-953-8855. Email is just Katrina, Katrina dot Matheis, Matheis @gmail.com. Yes, my last name looks like Mathis, but it's pronounced Matheis. I married into it. I don't have a say. So those are the best ways to get a hold of me. And I would love to do business and help anyone else that's looking to get into the real estate industry.
I love it. I love it. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us here today on the Financial Advantage. We are powered by the Wells Funding Group. You can reach the team and I at 219-230-8400. We would love it if you would like and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're watching it on. And please do us a favor and share this with 4 or 5 other people that are interested in hearing about real estate. And Kat, thank you again so much for being with us here today.
Thank you again, Dennis. I appreciate it.
You bet.